It's Hot Mike with Hutton and Withrow, where daily we discuss the National Football League and the push for the postseason. In the AFC, plenty of teams trying to jockey for positioning. In the NFC, well, the best teams in the NFL with the Philadelphia Eagles and San Francisco 49ers.
Well, hold on, Hutton. Not just those teams, but how about the Detroit Lions is one of the best teams in the NFL? Other shows may not mention that or talk about it. We will.
We are on board with Detroit. Subscribe to the podcast. Join us each day for Hot Mike with Hutton and Withrow across the Outkick Network. We discuss the NFL, college football, and the top headlines from Outkick.com.
All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss Show. And in today's episode, because I've seen this quite a few times where, like, people are overall selective about their racism. And I just want to make it clear right now that there is no such thing as selective racism. You're either racist or you're not. And the thing is this, I know that there's people out there that are going to say that I'm not racist. Okay, then do not, under any circumstances, talk about a race in a negative way or have negative things, like, regardless of whatever the situation is. If you know it's going to be some negative things about that race, whether it's a joke, whether it's a stereotype, whether it's whatever, my thing is this, there is no such thing as selective racism, and there's people out there that strongly do believe in that, where it's like, so, for an example, there is this tweet, and that's the main motivation behind this podcast episode. So, there was a tweet that I seen on, I seen the tweet on MySpace. Like, I don't know why I always say that, like, when I'll be doing a podcast episode or a video, and I'm like, yeah, I seen a tweet on Twitter. I mean, they do have it where people post a tweet on Instagram, but they'll screenshot it. Whatever the situation is. But anyways, so I seen this tweet. And it was of this kid where he had this sign, and it was a homecoming, prom, whatever the dance was. But he was asking either his crush, girlfriend, whoever was asking this girl to homecoming or prom. But the way he asked her, and I know for a fact he's gonna be like, I'm not being racist. Like, it was just something I thought of at the moment. It's like, okay, so you're thinking racism. Okay, then that's furthermore explain the situation. But no, so anyways, the sign goes on and says, if I was black, I would be picking cotton right now. But since I'm white, I wanted to pick you to go to homecoming, prom, some old dumb stuff like that. And I swear, he most likely is thinking in his head, and even his school where they said that thing, he only got suspended for like a day. He didn't get like a strong enough punishment. He honestly didn't, because I guarantee and I promise you, if I had said some like racist stuff, my name is Polly and I want to take this. Like, do you see where I'm heading with that? Like, that's some racist stuff. But I'm gonna let y'all finish that one. I'm not gonna say it out loud because I'm not gonna dig myself that hole. But anyways, like, imagine if I had said some stuff like that, right? And imagine how many people would be outraged about that. I know for a fact people would be calling me a racist if I had said some stuff like that. So that's why I don't say things like that. I would just walk up to the girl and be all like, hey, do you have a date to homecoming? No. Do you want to go? Okay. I will pick you up at this time. We will be at homecoming, prom, whatever the situation is. So I don't get why and people, they're like, they feel like that they need to say or do some racist stuff. And it's like, fam, it's not needed. Like, the amount of times where I've had to tell people, like, it's not needed to be racist, it is insane. Like, it is insane. Like, I can think of a lot of different times where, and that's a mistake on myself, where I didn't correct it, but at the same time, I didn't really know. But I think back when I was a kid, and I didn't go to a school that was primary. It was like mixed kids. Like, you had like a kids from all different sorts of races and stuff. But I think back on when like kids all the way back then were like, telling me these racist jokes. And I didn't really think too much of it because I was like, when I was a kid, I'm not really thinking of like racism and all that stuff. Although, like, it's weird though, because I didn't know, like, racism can be also shown as, like, in the form of a joke. Like, I always thought, like, racism was an attacking thing. But, no, like, there's people out there where it's like, they know they can overall be racist when telling a joke and stuff. And does that make them... And I know that'll probably be a question that, like, people would ask, like, like, let's say if you're a stand-up comedian and you tell a racist joke, like, are you racist like 24/7? Or my thing is this: I feel like that if you do say some like racist things about a race, in a comedy special, whatever it is, like, it's one thing if you're like reenacting something. Like, for an example, like if you're doing a movie, okay, that's cool, that's chill. You're getting paid to be, some racist character, but that doesn't overall make you a racist. Now, I feel like that can't fall in the same category. So, like, for an example, Leonardo DiCaprio, when he played in Django and he was buying slaves, getting slaves killed, all this other stuff, like selling slaves, all that stuff. I know people will be all like, what does that make him racist? Like, he said the N-word, he did this, he did that, and I'm like, the thing is this: he's getting paid to, overall act out. And I feel like people would try to use that against me, where it's like, oh, so if a friend of mine's paid me to say the N-word, does that make me a racist? Fam, make your money. But whatever title you have to yourself, that is on you. But the thing is this: if you're having to think on some stuff like that, because to come to Leonardo DiCaprio's defense, from what I heard, he was uncomfortable saying the N-word and being racist in that movie. He probably, most likely, if he could have it his way, he probably would have had it where he did not say the N-word at all in that whole movie. He probably would have alluded to the fact that his character was racist, but he overall wouldn't have said the N-word. If he could change up his character, he most likely would have been playing as Jamie Foxx's friend than playing as like Jamie Foxx's enemy and stuff. So there are people out there where it's like, if it's, if it's like if their job is an actor or something, and they're getting paid, and I know people probably will say, excuse me, I've had, like, because I just finished eating and drinking the soda, and so the after burps are happening. But anyways, and I know people will probably like try to throw that in the mix, like, okay, well, let's say if you're a white musician and you get paid to say the N-word, like I said, make your money. But whatever title, my thing is this: if you are hearing this podcast episode and you're questioning your racism, you're arguing with me on some stuff, and I feel like that's like one of the main things that you will see a lot in, like, the selective racism or even racism debate on what's racist and what's not racist. And it's one of the most craziest things where people like that's not, black will tell me, like, if they're saying something about a black person, they're all like, that's not racist, or no, it's racist if you do this, but that's not, like, no. There was the one time I told this story multiple times, but there was a one time on Twitter where a guy, he had called me a monkey, and I told him that is racist. You cannot call a black person a monkey. And that's the one thing that I never understood, was that when people will say or do things like that, the first thing that they want to come out and say is that I have black friends, I call him a monkey all the time. I'm like, okay, then you're being racist to your friends. You think by you having black friends, like, that's your defense? No, it's not. I guarantee and I promise you, if there was like stricter laws about racism, like, you can't say any racist derogatory things. Like, let's say if there was a punishment, right, for being racist online. Like, let's say you could be fined to up to like $1,000 for calling a black person a monkey, and they report it, screenshots it, all that stuff, sends it into Twitter. This man's getting, I guarantee and I promise you, there would be a lot of people not being racist if there were a punishment. But since there's no punishment, and it's pretty much like a free will on what goes down on social media. Yeah, I've had it numerous times where people have called me that N-word. They've said other racist, derogatory things, and there's people that literally defend it. There was one guy, I'll never forget, where he said that because of the videos that he has watched on me, he now has a right to be racist towards me. What sense does that make? You are still racist. There ain't no such thing as that, oh, well, since you've done something, I'm allowed to be racist to you. No, you're either, like I said, you're either racist or you're not, all right? And it's funny because I can tell the difference between a person that's not racist and that is racist. And the people that are not racist, they'll be telling me a story, right? And so they'll be all like, oh yeah, this black guy, he was going crazy in this store. He was all like, N-word this and N-word that. Notice how I say N-word, right? And then a racist person will literally look me in my face. They'll make sure they're saying it at like a quiet volume, and then we're like, "Oh yeah, this black guy, he was in this store, right?" And then they'll be telling me the story and be all like, "Oh yeah," then they'll actually will say the N-word. And my thing is this: I'm like, why? It's something that I never understood. Like there's even a time I remember when there was a coworker that I had worked like at the time, because he ended up leaving. And I never told anybody this because I was like, it's just dumb on his part. Like, I knew that character, that employee, he just wasn't right in the head. Like, he obviously has suffered from some, like, mental issues. So he overall thought that, I'm like, that it's stuff like that where it's like, you can't really argue with their mentality and stuff. It's just, it's one of those things where it's like, hey, he's in his, like, I think he was in his 40s or something. I'm like, if he done made it this far in life and he feels like that he could just talk to people any old time. And it wasn't like he was directly calling me the N-word, but he was giving me that whole, like, conversation, like, I'm not a racist, right? And then he goes on and says, like, I can't remember what we were even talking about. And I'm like, you could have just easily just said the N-word. Like, the fact that there is the one employee, or I am going to call him an employee, he's a full-blown friend. I need to stop doing that with the friends. Like, and it's funny because there were people there that was me, prime example. I wasn't going around saying N-word this and N-word that in every conversation. Then there was the other employee that, he was black. There was, like, quite a few employees that was there where it was, like, they didn't, even my supervisor, at the time, like, before, Jack, the bass player for Monitor, aka my friend, I'm like, that was a friend that I was talking about originally, but I'm saying, it's like, none of these guys ever had to have, like, that awkwardness with me when they would, like, when, like, they didn't say the N-word, but it was never, like, that awkwardness of them wanting to say the N-word, and even if it was a person of color, they never said the N-word. So it was, like, a lot of times it confused me that it's like, there are people out there that are against it. It is, like, it is against their religion. They will not say it unless they are being paid to, and I feel like, yeah, if you're being paid to, then it's like, okay, like I said, make your money. But whatever title you want to have with yourself, that is on you, okay? But if you're looking, my thing is this. It's one thing to have it where somebody approaches you and they all like, okay, $100, say the N-word. If I'm white, I'm looking back and forth and I'm like, bruh, $100 is $100. I'm saying it. So, does that make me a racist? No, it doesn't make me a racist. But if I am looking for my next opportunity, if I'm going on social media and say, hey, I will say the N-word for $100, there's a little bit of racism running through my blood and stuff. So, yeah, it's just, it's over. I think, a lot of people, they just need to, have a little history lesson on racism and stuff. It's like, just because you may not find something racist, that don't mean that it's like everybody else is going to feel the same way and stuff. And yeah, it's like, it's just so many, like, dumb things. And then I know a lot of people are probably going to, like, bring up, the whole situations like with the guy that was joining my Twitch streams and stuff, because no, there were friends, mutual friends between the both of us, where I'll have to say that they more so took his side over my side. I'm not tripping about it. I'm not mad about it. I know people probably would look at them and be all like, oh, well, they're racist too. I don't think they're overall racist. I just think that they were, manipulated by the wrong person, or, just overall manipulated by a person and things. There wasn't no rights and wrongs in the mix of it. But I mean, he was overall in the wrong, but yeah, overall, I just think that, like, that's what happens when you get manipulated by a person, and it gets to a point in time where it's like, you can't really necessarily, like, you got, like, it's just, I don't know, like, I don't want to paint that picture where they can't think for themselves, but at the same time, it's like, there's clearly somebody being racist here, and the fact that it's like, it's just being, look, and no, it's, what's crazy, right, because I've been watching that Jeffrey Dahmer show, and it's when you're in that like position where you're saying something and you want to be heard, but then people are not hearing you, and then until something crazy doesn't happen. And that's why I think a lot of the times where it's like, with racism, that a person ain't gonna believe you until something crazy happens. So, like, let's say for an example, like back on the joking stuff, right? So I can go up to a friend, and let's say it's a friend that, you know, they don't really like look into racism too much. But anyways, so I can say like, oh yeah, you know, this person had cracked this racist joke with me. They're like, oh, well, they were just joking. They were just playing around and stuff. And then yeah, overall, like, you know, I'm like, okay, well, if that's how you want to view it, I kind of felt weird. I'm like, I didn't like it, all right? So that's strike one. Strike two, they just casually say the N-word in front of that person. They were like, well, they probably didn't mean it like that. It's like, it's okay. It's chilled. It's like, it's fine. You're just overlooking this situation. Like, chill out, Tyler. Gosh, like, you always want to turn things into something racist. It's like, he's not being racist. He's just saying the N-word. Okay, that's strike two. Strike three, out of nowhere, you just hear that this individual had just went and attacked like 15 black people for no reason, all right? 3 of them is in the hospital, and then the other 12, like, we don't know where they're at. We don't know what happened to them and stuff. And like, well, he probably the man is racist, okay? The man is racist. If you're specifically going after a race with whatever situation that you want to paint out on the like table, right? It's racist, okay? Like, there's no reason at all why you should be going at a race for whatever reason, you know, that you want to come up in your head and stuff. Like, if you're going after a race, you're racist, okay? Plain and simple. Or you want to say something disrespectful, derogatory, whatever it is, it's racist, all right? So, anyways, now that I got that out of my system and stuff, yeah, I just think people need to stop with the whole, like, you know, what's racist and what's not racist. Like, if there's a person out there and you said something offensive about, like, color, like, bruh, you know, apologize for it, move on. Like, that's it. Don't come back saying some more, like, and don't think because you apologize, like, oh, like, you know, no, an apology is just step one. Step two is like, okay, like, not even like so much as like fighting the urge, but just not being racist. Like, that's it. That's all you have to do. And if you can't do that, then it's like, fam, accept the fact that you are racist. So, excuse me. Anyways, and that being said, I will talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening. And yeah, overall moral of this podcast episode, don't be racist when asking your, you know, crush or whoever out on a date to wherever and stuff. You know, just be normal, okay? And if normal to you is racism, then yeah, fine, be racist. I'm like, that's your lifestyle that you're gonna have to worry about. I do not care. So anyways, and that being said, talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening. If you're viewing this on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe. And if you're viewing this on a podcast streaming service, make sure you follow or subscribe, however it's set up. Make sure you subscribe to all my 43 YouTube channels. Follow me on Twitter, TikTok, Twitch, and Instagram at TMossBoss. And make sure you follow my Facebook page at TMossBoss fan page. Also, if you are purchasing any tickets from SeatGeek, make sure you use my promo code TMossBoss and we'll knock $20 off your first purchase. Thank you guys for watching and or listening, and peace.